This is TWiT.
So I got, as you know, it's my job. Don't judge me. I got my 5th Apple Watch in practically as many years. One good thing Apple's done, this is the new Apple Watch Series 4.
It's a little bigger, it's a little beefier.
One good thing they've done is they've eliminated the high-priced edition. Right? Originally, remember, they had like a $30,000 gold one, and then they've been doing ceramic ones. And I, as a sucker, kept buying the ceramic ones, not realizing really that it's going to be obsolete in a year.
Right.
So this time, aluminum, baby, black aluminum. They still make stainless steel.
It looks nice.
This is fine. I mean, this is the less expensive one. It came with a fluoroelastomer plastic band, which I immediately replaced.
That's fancy.
But the nice thing is the bands are compatible.
That band is a aftermarket.
No, this is Apple's Milanese loop. But that's the point, is that even though this new watch face is a little bit bigger, this is the 44 millimeter. The old bands will still work. You don't have to give it up. They say a 30% larger screen. I don't know how you can tell. One way you can, I guess, see the larger screen is this new Infograph watch face that they offer only on the Series 4. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 complications. There's a new style of complication. That's those little widgets. There's the music complication. I can launch my chill mix. 12 gigabytes of storage now. And that's nice because, look, I can play it to my AirPods or my speaker. What's really nice, though, about having so much storage is not only can I put music in there, quite a bit of music, I can put my audiobooks. Audible now doesn't have a complication for it yet, but it does now support having audiobooks on it.
It really does add to that standalone functionality.
Absolutely. I don't have to bring my phone. This comes in LTE and non-LTE versions. Of course, I got the LTE version, and you can see the LTE signal there. This is on T-Mobile. Most of the carriers will offer some way of doing it for around $10 a month.
Right.
That means that you can still get notifications, messages, if your phone's not there, and you can even use the new feature, Walkie Talkie.
Okay, see, I've heard a lot about this. Can you actually show it to me?
I can't, because nobody I talk to is available right now. I made Lisa actually take my old Apple Watch so that we could walkie-talkie. We have done it. It's really cool. You get a big button on there. Now, the first time you connect with somebody, it'll do this, connecting to, and it's somehow establishing a connection. But once it's established that conversation, it's almost instantaneous. I press the button, you hold to talk, say something, it plays it on her watch within a second. She talks back to me, so you can have this back and forth real-time conversation.
It reminds me of those, remember those Nextel phones?
That's what
there's a generation that doesn't understand this.
They even make it Nextel yellow. Yeah. I mean, they know that. She said it reminded her of Stranger Things, like we were under the table talking on our walkie-talkies.
The old FRS radios.
Unfortunately, I've been seeing this a lot lately. Lisa is not responding. Megan won't talk to me either. Maybe they just don't want to walkie-talkie with me. I don't know.
Well, you know what this means. You need another one so you could walkie-talkie yourself.
Hello, Leo. Hi, how you doing? Oh, I'm great. How are you? The other thing...
Best conversation ever.
Ever. The other thing that this has is a new dual-core 64-gig chip. They call it the S4. Noticeably faster. Apps run faster. Everything launches faster. And it has helped the watch do better in a number of areas. For instance, my old Series 3 watch, when I'm working vigorously, will sometimes lose my heart rate. This one has yet to lose my heart rate, which is fantastic. It's very accurate, very reliable.
Just a better sensor, or is it making better contact?
Well, I wonder. Maybe it's a better sensor. It looks the same. Maybe it's making better contact. Maybe it's a faster chip. All in all, it's improved. The speaker's louder by 50%. They have the new fall detection in here, which at first I decided not to turn on because I didn't want it to go off. It says when you first turn it on. Now, if you're very vigorous, it may detect falls when you're just really, doing push-ups.
Or slam dancing.
Or slam dancing. But then I realized I'm not that vigorous. So I turned it on. This actually is great for older people or people who, maybe you live alone. If you have a fall, it will detect it. And it will call 911 and your designated respondee.
But it gives you a moment to cancel.
Absolutely.
Right?
It plays a loud noise. There's you can say, no, that wasn't a fall. That was breakdancing. I've yet to trigger it by accident, even in vigorous workisworkouts. So
Renee Ritchie tried to trigger it, right?
Watch this. This is Renee's, he's from iMore, our host on MacBreak Weekly. His review of the Apple Watch 4, he simulated falls
Did it actually trigger?
I don't know.
Well, they were saying in the chat room that it's only on by default if you're over 65. Otherwise, you have to turn it on. For you, it was disabled by default,
I had to
right?
turn it on. Okay. That's right, but I did turn it on. It does also have the, you know, as previous Apple Watches have had, the high heart rate.
Right.
The default is 120. So if your heart rate gets above 120 without you actually moving around a lot, it'll notify you. And people report that, you know, they're watching a football game and it'll say, your heart rate's very high. What's going on? They also now have low heart rate detection. So if my heart rate goes below a certain point, and you can set that point, it will also say, hey, are you okay?
So your heart hasn't beat for 3 minutes. You should probably call the doctor.
Either this man is dead or my Apple Watch is stopped. I don't know how useful those are, but they're nice.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I mean, there's been a lot of hype about what it can and cannot do.
Right.
I love the fact that they are including that, because then you can actually develop for it.
Right.
You know, one of the dreams of the wearable technology has been to give your doctor more than just a snapshot. Because right now you get what? Maybe the blood tests, maybe a scan, and then the 20 minutes your doctor sees you, and he has to be able to diagnose what's been happening to you for the last 6 months and what might happen for the next 6. Imagine being able to show him or give him in advance a detailed layout of what your health looked like through every day of the last 6 months. That could really actually improve the quality of our healthcare. So I don't care if it lives up to the hype right now, as long as it's possible to use it for an application like that.
I think that's absolutely right. Down the road, this is going to be of real value. There's some controversy as well about the electrocardiogram. It's a 2-sensor ECG. Not available yet, by the way. Sometime later this fall. But one sensor, of course, is already on your wrist. You put your finger on the stem, the winding stem, and then it will, between the two sensors, measure your heart pattern, can send it to a doctor. This is much like the AliveCore Cardia. Both have been approved by the FDA, but many doctors have said, well, it's nothing compared to the traditional 12-sensor ECG. But after all, that's probably what would happen. You'd say, well, I don't know. The doctor would say, well, do you feel all right? I don't feel all right. Send me the result from your watch, which you could do. Come in, because we need to do a full EKG on you right now. That's the kind of thing. It's kind of a warning system, not so much a diagnostic system.
Now, Leo, I know that they actually decrease the size of the battery because they've made some of the other components more efficient.
That's a little weird.
Have you noticed a hit to battery life?
So they claim that the battery life is actually improved. They use that phrase all-day battery life, which for them is 18 hours. But then iFixit took it apart and said, whoa, wait a minute. This is actually a smaller battery, even though it's a bigger case. This is a 44 millimeter. I never had problems with battery life on my old Apple Watch. You'll use more battery when you use it for workouts, which I do almost every day. But it still gets me through most of the day. It's rare that I'll get back with this new Apple Watch. And you know, I've been wearing it for about a week now, so I don't have a huge amount of experience. But it's rare. It's never been that I'd get back and, oh my gosh, the battery's dead. Usually it's got a quarter or more left, 25% or more left. So, you know, is there less battery life than before? I don't know. I never had a problem before. I still don't have a problem today.
You know, the #1 usage of power on a phone is the screen. The #1 usage of power on a watch is going to be the radios. Because the radio. So
this has a lot of radios, by the way.
Right, but my guess is they've just gone in and they've tweaked when the radios are on, when they're off, and when they're at partial power.
They have a lot of control of this.
They have
this has an LTE radio, a Bluetooth radio, and a Wi-Fi radio. I mean, there's a lot of transmitting and receiving going on in here, but you're exactly right. I bet you it's not all the time. The fact that when I do that Walkie Talkie, it takes about 30 seconds to say the connection, that means those radios are off, it's turning them on, it's doing some searching. So I think all of that makes sense. On the other hand, this to me is the way, and I said this on Series 3 last time, I say it's even more true today. This is the Apple Watch that Apple kind of hinted at when it first came out with the Apple Watch. This is the Apple Watch that Apple was aiming at, and I love it. I have to say it's become a day, and I was very skeptical for the first 3 generations. This has become a daily wear item. It actually started with the Series 3. I wear this every day now. I use it when I exercise. I use it for maps. When we were traveling on the cruise, I had my old Series 3. I used it to, you know, drop a pin when we get off the boat. Well, how do I get back to the boat? Drop a pin. The watch will navigate me back. There's a lot of great uses for this. I'm rarely without my phone. And I do have the XS Max or the 10S Max, and we'll talk about that at another time. Really like that as well. But this, even without the phone, is great. Lisa's now, you know, wearing hers to go work out because she can listen to the music, she can listen to an audiobook. WatchOS 5, if you've got an older watch, is definitely an upgrade to get. And if you don't yet have an Apple Watch or it's time to upgrade, I would absolutely recommend the Series 4 Apple Watch. They start at $400. You're probably going to spend a little bit more than that, especially if you want LTE.
If you're looking for a watch, this would be a good one to start with. But then my question to you would be, if you have a Series 3, is this worth the upgrade?
Oh, probably not, although I like this Infograph face because I look at all this stuff. I have the calendar. I have Lisa's picture. I can, you know, show her phone number, email, text message her. I mean, I have to say, there's a lot of functionality. I use drafts all the time. That's built in. And we're seeing, by the way, companies starting to add the capabilities for these super complications that are exclusive to the Infograph. Yeah, I think it's great. I look how fast these apps are launching.
It does seem speedy.
Noticeably speedier than the old Apple Watch. You know, I really think this is great. And by the way, if there's one killer feature of the new Apple Watch, it's the ability to play Pokemon Go on the watch while you're walking around, even if your phone isn't around.
It's funny that you say that because I've been walking about 5 miles a day in Rome, and I just realized I haven't turned on Pokemon Go. I should have had it on so I could have some
you're
eggs.
missing the boat. There's probably some great stuff at Vatican City. You could get a great Pokemon there.
We have the Popemon. It's a special edition.
You said it, not me. You want to excommunicate anybody? He said it, not me. Anyway, I'm a big fan. I've completely come around on the Apple Watch. My first reaction is, this is dopey. Nobody wants this. My second reaction, well, it's kind of like a sidecar on a motorcycle. If you've got the motorcycle and you want it to do other things, that's handy, I guess. Now, as a standalone device, as a watch, as a utility, this is fantastic. The Walkie Talkie alone makes it.
So it finally has
a Pokemon is nearby, a wild Nidoran. Should we try to capture it?
No. A Nidoran? You don't need a Nidoran.
I don't need. They're like rabbits.
That's a garbage Pokemon.
They're everywhere. Garbage Pokemon.
Tell me when you get a Lampress. I need another one.
Oh, I need a Lampress. I just got a Gyarados.